BSc 2 Semester 3. Name of the paper Sedimentary and Metamorphic Petrology. Today we are going to learn rhodaceous deposits. Last time we have seen residual deposits. This is the classification of sedimentary rocks. Basically, sedimentary rocks are products of weathering. That is, they are formed by processes like weathering and erosion. Means various agents of weathering and erosion acts on the pre-existing rock, which may be igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic. Due to their action, the rock gets fragmented and disintegrated. Chemical reactions also takes place and a new type of loose material has been formed, which is called as sedimentary deposit. Sometimes the rocks are formed at the place of the origin, that is, where the original rock has been situated, the newer type of sedimentary rock or sedimentary deposit gets formed at the same place. In that case, they are called as non-transported or residual deposits, which we have studied in the last lecture. But many times this sedimentary deposit or the weathering material has been moved forward or transported by the agents of erosion to some another place, and at that place they get deposited and a newer type of deposit or new type of rock is formed, which is called as sedimentary rock. Such kinds of sedimentary rocks or deposits are called as transported deposits. Again, they get transported by two methods, that is, in suspension and in solution. In suspension means they get transported in the form of suspended matter. They don't dissolve in the water. They remain suspended. We can see them in the water in the form of suspension. And another is in solution. It means that they get dissolved in water and travel to some another place in soluble state. The suspension kind of transported deposits are of again three types: rhodaceous, arenaceous and argillaceous, out of which today we are going to learn rhodaceous deposits. This classification has been based on their grain size. Rhodaceous means very large grain, arenaceous means sand sized grains, and argillaceous means very fine grain material. In case of solution deposits, there are two categories: chemical deposits and organic deposits. The soluble material has been get precipitated and it gives rise to newer deposit either by the chemical processes or by organic processes, and hence there are two categories: chemical deposits and organic deposits. If the soluble material gets deposited by the processes like precipitation, evaporation, then they are called as chemical deposits. Example, limestone. मराठीत आपण त्याला शहाबादिक फरशी असं म्हणतो, तो limestone. It is a kind of chemical deposit, and if organisms or biological agencies are involved in their deposition, they are called as organic deposits. Example, organic limestone, phosphorides, guano. It is also a type of phosphate deposit which is get accumulated by the accumulation of birds' excreta. So this is the broad classification of sedimentary rocks: products of weathering, transported or residual, transported and non-transported or residual deposits, The examples of residual deposits are laterite and bauxite. Transported deposits again have two categories: in suspension, in solution. In suspension have three categories: rudiceous, arenaceous, argillaceous. Rudiceous rocks are conglomerate and breccia. Arenaceous are sandstone, and argillaceous are shale and mudstone. So today we are going to learn rudiceous deposits or rudiceous rocks, conglomerate and breccia. This is the grain size of rudiceous rocks. 256 mm to 16 mm means very coarse grain rocks are formed in this category, and they are called as rudiceous deposits. Their examples are conglomerate and breccia. And that very coarse grain fragments are called as cobbles and pebbles. Of course, they have suffered transportation but in varying amount, and hence they are hard, tough, durable and resistant. If the original mineral from the pre-existing rock is not durable, it won't survive the transportation. It will get eroded completely. But as these minerals have been survived, forming a newer type of rock, they are very tough, hard. Hard means their hardness is greater. They are resistant to weathering, means chemically resistant, and durable. And these minerals are quartz, feldspars and similar minerals. Now, what is the difference between conglomerate and breccia? Their formation or mode of formation is similar. Also, their mineralogy is similar. The only difference is in the shape of their minerals or mineral grains. When the parent rock or pre-existing rock from which conglomerate and breccia have been formed undergoes long transport, the angularity of the grains vanishes due to wear and tear during the transport, and the grains become elongated. Their edges get rounded off. When elongated grains are there, the rock is called as conglomerate. Their origin is fluviatile. Fluviatile means these are formed by the action of water. Fluviatile means water formed or originated from or action of water. Water means flowing water. For example, river. Sea waves are not involved here in the formation of conglomerate or breccia because they are not able to lift the large sized pebbles, cobbles and boulders. Means the grain size is very large, the grains are heavy, and sea waves are not able to lift these grains. Hence, these are formed only by the action of flowing water like river. Many times when the river comes at the bottom from the hill or mountain where it originates, a fan-like structure has been formed. It is called as alluvial fan. It is made up of such large sized fragments like cobbles, pebbles and boulders. This is about conglomerate. Now breccia. The only difference is in their shape. Grains are angular in breccia. If the transport is not much, if the original grain or original rock has not suffered long transport, the grains remain angular and the rock is called as breccia. This angularity is due to the less amount of transport. If angularity has been vanished, it means that it has been suffered long transport and the resulting rock is conglomerate. But if the amount of transport is less, the angularity of the grains remains as it is and the resulting rock is breccia. Again, the breccia has been classified into three types. First is volcanic breccia. Volcanic means formed from volcano, or it is pyrogenetic. Pyrogenetic means formed from fire. It is formed by volcanic eruption. When the magma comes on the earth's surface, it is called as eruption. And when this angular pyrogenetic material gets deposited together, forming a new rock type, it is called as breccia. And as it is pyrogenetic in origin, it is called as volcanic breccia. It is called so because of its angular grain shape. Another type is fault breccia. As the name indicates, it forms along faults where the faulting has been taken place. Due to the process of faulting, the original rock where the fault occurred gets fragmented, and that angular fragments get together or gets deposited, forming a breccia known as crush breccia. It is formed due to faulting where crushing has been involved, hence it is called as crush breccia or fault breccia. And third type is intraformational breccia. It is formed by cracking or breaking of clay stone or mud stone or siltstone. When these fine grained rocks like clay stone or siltstone, they get cracked and get fragmented, again their angular fragments come together or deposited together, forming a newer type of rock which is younger than the parent rock. Parent rock means here clay stone or siltstone, and that newer type of rock which has angular fragments is called as intraformational breccia. So we have seen definition of rhodaceous deposits. At first, classification of sedimentary deposits, then rhodaceous deposits, their definition, their formation, and their two types: conglomerate, which contains rounded grains, and breccia, which contains angular grains. And three types of breccia, that is volcanic breccia, fault breccia, and intraformational breccia. And the last part of this lecture is loose rhodaceous deposits. Conglomerate and breccia are rocks, they are not loose deposits. But some loose deposits or loose sedimentary rhodaceous deposits are also there. They are described as gravel, pebble, or shingle. They may be rounded or may be angular. Gravel has size ranging in diameter from 2 mm to 10 mm. Pebbles and shingles are larger than gravel, having size from 10 mm to 50 mm. Then cobbles are still larger in size than pebbles and shingles, and boulders are very large sized grains up to 256 mm in diameter. So all this loose material, gravel, pebble, shingle, cobble, and boulder, these are loose rhodaceous deposits, and it is evident that they are made up of hard, durable, tough and resistant mineral grains. If they are rounded in shape, it indicates long transport. If they are angular in shape, it indicates less transport. So, in this lecture, we have studied rudous deposits. In next lecture, we are going to study the next category of sedimentary deposits which are formed in suspension. That category is arenaceous deposits.